I don't know why it did that. Hello, welcome to the Stanley Parable again. I recorded, streamed, but I guess it didn't follow through. Now I'm playing the game again. What does that say? I hate Mondays, we all do, buddy. 428, 429.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Where's the meeting room? Guess I'm going this way.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright. I guess I'm going this way. Oh.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Synergize core value expenditures. Shift global market. Monetize free to play. Yay! Everyone is unique, you most of all. No, it really doesn't feel like that, buddy. It really doesn't. All these people, they're all different, but they're all the same. Charts, slides, charts and slides. Crazy. That's insane. Alright. Bi-quarterly rates of increase in graph. Okay. Broom. What? Let me in. Oh.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here.
There was
so
a
he
broom.
turned around and got back on track.
It makes a clicking sound when I press X. My clicking
There
buttons.
was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet.
Fuck you,
no
narrator.
reason to still be here.
You know what,
Coming
narrator?
to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I'm gonna say what. Well, this is more interesting. I'm going down here.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk?
Because he wanted to.
Because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy.
My boss
And
can
then
suck my
something
nuts.
occurred to Stanley.
Hey.
Maybe, he thought to himself,
Wait a
maybe
minute.
I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
What?
None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue.
He was asleep.
Just hadn't found the words for it.
He was asleep.
I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
Yeah.
He thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
What?
Then he imagined himself
Yeah.
soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid?
Stanley
And then
is tripping
perhaps the strangest
balls.
question of them all entered Stanley's head.
One
he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
What?
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange.
What is happening?
I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams,
Is it just me?
the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's
What?
asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back.
Beautiful.
The
Feels so
fresh air
good.
of the world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please. It's all I want.
That's basically my job. I just push
I
buttons.
want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine.
Everything will not be fine. Stanley.
I am okay.
Stanley, you're going to die. Fuck.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
What?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Huh?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
What?
She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work.
And there's
on
Stanley.
this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
Oh.
Though she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better.
How?
Then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
All right. Well, that was interesting. The end is loading. Fuck! I don't want to be back here. This place sucks. I hate my job.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
That was on. I don't know why it was on, but it was on. This guy just has a pencil sharpener. That's pretty fucking weird. One of these doors has to open. There. Hold on. Oh. Did I did something. I don't know what I did, but I did something. Weird. No. Something. How do I jump? All right. That doesn't close behind me automatically. That's weird. That meeting room is not a meeting room.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Stanley went to the right because the voice in his head doesn't...
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Stanley
Perhaps
says
he
go.
wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I see a computer that's still open. This place reeks of corporate shitheads. Oh.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring.
No.
It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
What is this place? The weeks I've spent here, they feel like mere sound by extension.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room.
I'm reading the note,
so
voice.
Captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings.
No, I'm not
really
looking at the... I'm looking at the paintings, man. I'm looking at the note that someone left. What is it about this place?
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered...
Can you shut up?
...on creepy, and reflected poorly on his overall personality.
I'm reading the note, you asshole.
That this is why everyone left.
Alright, well, I'm done here. That's weird.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue.
Right,
when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
I'm good. I'm reading the note again. What I say this lounge has... Did you write a poem about the fucking lounge? You weirdo. Give me a drink. Alright. Moving on.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room, and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
No, I didn't. I'm checking out what this is. Something's...
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Stanley wants you to kill yourself. Warning, do not jump. Heavy risk cargo. Penalty for jumping off the cargo is $5,000. Can I kill myself? Is that an option?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
In an effort to prove that he was in control, Stanley fucking killed himself.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What
did it mean?
I'm on a speedrun mode.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When
I've been over there.
To a set of 2 open doors. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Stanley says, "Shut up."
Stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Time to go this way.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Whoa. I didn't mean to... Fuck you, I'm going down here now.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office.
Stanley wants to explore.
He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left.
No. I'm going right. Fuck. That door doesn't make any sound effects when I click on it. Curious.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake.
I knew it. You asshole.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh, dear. Would you hold on for a minute, please?
That's okay. You gonna find the map for me, buddy?
Let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yes. I've got it now. This
Is
story
it?
is absolutely, definitely this way.
Ooh. I'm gonna get hit by a car. What's the point of this? Why are you here? Alright then. Guess I'm going this way.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
No!
Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
What?
All of his co-workers were gone.
What?
What could it mean?
It's not...
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
My life is a lie! My life is a lie! My wife?
When Stanley... Wait, what?
What?
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh.
I'm ready to
Everything
go.
should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who
I
wrote the story.
changed the
It
monitors.
was right here just a minute ago.
Fuck
I
you.
know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
I don't want to find the story. Okay, I guess I'm going this way. Is that actually what time it is? It's 5:26. That says like not 5:26, guaranteed. Why does it need what time it is? That's weird.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can
Yeah, me
promise
too.
you there definitely was a story here before.
No, hold on,
Do we need to restart
hold
the
on.
game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
What? No, you don't get to tell me that everyone is letting me torture myself.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Who knows?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I pressed the button on the computer.
Okay, yep, it's worse.
What the fuck?
I'm remembering this wrong.
I think you are.
It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Alright.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something.
What?
The story. Here it comes.
Oh boy. 5th annual meeting of the Internal Revenue and Praise of the Rural Revenue Service Coast. No girls.
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
This is the first, like, subliminal get. What happened here?
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all.
Me
Is
neither.
this the story? I don't think so.
The stories that I
can't
mentally
quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct?
Yeah, it took place in an office
Do
building.
you remember, Stanley?
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
Yeah!
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so...
Yay, I
good
did it. I
job.
beat the game.
Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win.
No, I didn't.
People win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
No, it wasn't.
Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Go ahead.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
No.
No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
Open the door, narrator. Open the fucking door. I'm sick of your shit, narrator. Fine, I'll follow the fucking line. What's that? Knowing your city. What's with the rooster? It's kind of random. Okay. Solitaire. Can I play? Should I play solitaire? You're gonna want to... Okay, you can't even see the whole fucking screen. I'm employee 4. Am I different? Employee 4... whatever the fuck. Well, that is very interesting looking text. It looks like it got melted in the sun. But it's on a box printed made of oil, so don't know how it would get melted by the sun, but it looks like it got melted by the sun. Don't ask me how that works.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction.
Fuck
Onward,
you.
Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there?
Yeah.
Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Very dramatic. I can't hear myself talk, game. What's over here? Oh. I could have sworn that opened. Hey! You're not allowed to go in circles. Alright. I guess I'm going this way. Can't even go down if I wanted to. Why'd I go into the fucking... Damn it. I don't know either. monthly ledgers, corporate imbalances, accounts. Accounts, personnel files, budget analysis, natural records. Narrator,
Cut the music. Go
please.
Back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important
Where?
later in the story.
What fern?
Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Right. The plant. Cool. So that just existed? That had no purpose? Alright, I guess. Well, that was weird. Random unmarked doors are random and unmarked.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No,
hold on.
You do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Well, I'm not. You can't jump. No, seriously, we disabled it. Yeah. I got an achievement. Get your first trophy. Any of their trophies is your first. I got an achievement. Let me jump, game. I guess I'm back here now. Alright,
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
What? No! That's my whole existence, jackass. Something's wrong. I can feel it. In my bones. Fuck you, computer. This is... Hey, that's different. That wasn't there before. You're trying to fuck with me.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us?
Yeah,
We're
made it.
intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
I'll follow along, fuck you.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story.
I'm
No
following the
lines
line.
or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Right, not acknowledging the line. I'm not acknowledging the line. There we go. There we go.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision.
Yeah.
From here, the story is in our control. How important, we mustn't squander the opportunity.
Why?
In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
No, well, I'm going this way. Alright.
hold up, what's this?
What?
The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending?
Not.
And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey. They're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually.
Life is
Well, in the meantime, if you...
Fuck! Yeah. Yeah.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Narrator, no!
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
Narrator,
he had
no!
simply missed a memo.
Welcome to the stream. Narrator.
No matter how hard Stanley
You can't do this to me.
he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Fuck you. And your monitor. You, this... Ah. I did something different. Boop. I pressed a button. I don't know what I did, but I pressed the button.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, I guess. No, guess. Haven't gone this way yet.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Nope.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Extreme bathrooms. Time. What? Why are you doing this? What? I am not going in there. I'm going over here. Yeah, don't shoot the panda, you dickhead. Why'd I get a reticle? Now what? Up. There was no more up. Oh. What? Who just whispered my name? Oh, is that the narrator humming along to the song? Oh. Why are those glowing? What I... Well, fuck you, I'm going down. Did he just say shit? That was the wrong verse. That's the amount of voice acting that this guy must have had to do to make this fucking game. Fine, I guess I'll go this way. Well, at least I tried.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I'm going down. What's happening?
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job.
Boo!
Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Did you have to do that?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
No way! Oh, which way do I keep going this way?
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
You know, I'm not gonna be tricked by you. I'm gonna see what happens. Cause you know what, fucker?
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
I am going to find out what happens
Stanley was
at
making
the
a conscious,
end.
concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
You know what, fucker? I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna die. Well. Oh. What? What?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, it reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever.
Please
Stanley
don't.
can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Nice to meet you too, narrator.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
What?
In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Why'd you do that? Oh! Oh.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
What if I don't want to?
What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
I don't want to. Okay, fine, I'll go. What is happening? This game is so fucking weird.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
Nature
Do you
paintings.
see now? Do you
Yeah.
see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Cool. What? What? I like 5 the most. Development of the boss's office. Cool. This is like a museum. Freedom ending. Well, how do I get to the freedom ending? And then the countdown ending? The what? Countdown room. Cool. How do I get out of here? This is ending, which was cut and merged with another part of the game. Cool. But how do I get out of here? Home. Begin the game again. What's happening? What's happening?
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
That's different. You're an asshole, narrator, and I hope you know that. One of these is bound to open eventually.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this
Fuck
was
you.
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
I'm going this
Perhaps
way,
he
fuck
wanted to
you.
stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I didn't go this way yet. I'm checking what's over here. Well, I did go this way. I killed myself.
It's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
My wife?
Please, stop trying to... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important.
Got it.
Stanley walked through the red door.
Stanley walked through the blue door.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
I'm going this way.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
What is it?
You see? There's nothing here.
Oh.
I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? I don't think I put a lot of time into that, because I did.
Well, I gotta restart the game.
It was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some...
Right, trying to press a button.
Here.
This was pretty good.
Okay, so we're getting somewhere.
Yeah?
Clearly, there's something here that speaks to you.
Definitely.
If I can be honest here, I really don't have any idea where I'm
This
going
is
with it.
this is speaking to me in
third door
volumes.
thing was just a stab in the dark. But I guess you're into it, so let's keep this party train rolling.
Hell yeah.
Based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Show me. Oh. The Stanley Parable Worldwide Leaderboard. How did you do this? Where am I? Stanley. This is you! Oh, never mind that. 9,328 out of 9,328. I asked some friends for help. My friends can suck my fucking nuts. I'm going this way again.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
No, not really.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting.
It would.
You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
Go ahead.
Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Brilliant. What's happening? Oh.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right. And if he reaches the fire, you fail.
Got it.
It's a very meaningful game. All about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. It's
Burn,
over.
baby, burn.
Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable.
No, it wasn't.
Hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see.
Here we go.
Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley?
What?
What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
That's a Minecraft sound effect. What the fuck? Wait a minute. Firewatch. Was I the one who tossed the fucking... Was Stanley the guy who tossed it out the fucking window? This is insane. There's a guy inside your bell tower.
No, it can't be.
I love Firewatch.
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off.
No!
Thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call.
No!
You wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No
Exactly.
path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game.
All right.
Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
All right, guess not playing Firewatch today. Again.
Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
All right.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind.
Rocket
Just
League.
a nice big box for you to run around in.
I wanna
There
play
isn't
sports.
Any possibility that you could get lost here.
Give
Now,
me a car.
This is game design.
Give me a car.
Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Prepare to be impressed.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see.
It's supposed to be a
There are
ball.
lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley,
Yes.
I think it's sports ball. Oh, what
It is.
fun. We shall
Nice.
run the bases and do a touchdown together.
No.
I think surely we must.
No.
Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Where's the ball? Oh. All right. I'm gonna make a goalie.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this
Yes.
fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on?
Yay.
Hold on.
No,
What
what?
are you doing?
No! Damn it, I killed myself again. Oh no, I'm in the beta!
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Why am I in the beta? What's happening? Oh, I killed myself again. Uh-oh. I killed myself again. Oh. Where am I? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no! I'm in a pre-finished asset from Valve. Oh dear God, this is awful. No, seriously, this is awful. What the fuck do you want me to do with this? 2 doors! I'm heading back to my place. Fuck you. Creepy. Employee 427. Home. Okay, what am I supposed to... Okay, no, that sucks. Oh. What?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice.
Did I starve to death?
Learn the heavy cost that comes with it.
Nice.
He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end. to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
So can I. All right.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Fuck you, I'm exploring. I know I'm gonna find the magic fuck you computer at one point. I did not.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm just gonna go way selfie this time.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his... Oh no, not again. I won't be... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Right.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Yeah. Because Stanley was already in here when he spoiled the game for himself.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Take that, bitch. I did it. I saved people.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Was it over?
Probably. Probably not. I don't know.
Yes. He had won. He
What's
had
happening?
defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command.
I pressed a button.
Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone?
Dead.
How had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
The narrator.
What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go.
I'm out.
No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Hell yeah. I beat the game. Oh, this is different. I'm not free. I'm not.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm going right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I'm gonna complete,
Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's
That
incredible he
is
wasn't
all the
5
time
years
I
ago.
have today. Actually, wait a minute. I think I might be back. Give me half an hour, maybe 20 minutes. I'm back. Stanley had a stroke.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
Who?
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This
You'll
is
leave
it,
my...
Stanley. Your chance
You'll
to
leave my
redeem yourself,
wife out of this, you
to
son
put
of a
your
bitch.
work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Honey?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly...
Hello?
What?
Oh.
Oh,
Apartment.
Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm
What?
taking bread out of the oven.
Yes!
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
No!
Come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to
True.
commit their life to you?
Yeah, that's a
I'm
good
trying to make
point.
a point here, Stanley.
That's a good
I'm
point.
trying to get you to see something.
Oh, you're a
Come
dick.
inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Hey, honey.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
What? No. I'm not gonna press the button.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
You know what? Fuck her. I'm not pressing the button. Now what? Now what are you gonna do? So how's your day been? Glad to hear that. Right. Must be brilliant. You pulling bread out of the oven? Right. Yeah, of course. Where is it? We don't have an oven. Is that our oven? Does our oven look stupid? We should replace it. Don't look at me like that. You know I'm right.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
That changed.
Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
No, fuck you. I'm not pressing circle. Let me out. Let me drink my sorrows away.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth.
Exposition.
The thought excited him terribly.
Oh, that's what top of the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Prepare dinner.
As he wandered through this fantasy world,
No.
he began
No.
to fill it with many
No.
possible paths
No.
and destinations.
I'm not going back.
Down one path lay an
You can't make
enormous
me go
round
back.
room with monitors and mind controls. And
Oh
down
my
another
God.
was a yellow line that weaved in many directions.
No.
And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley
Stanley
Parable.
Parable.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Tell your wife I love her. I love you.
But there is no answer.
Ugh.
How could there possibly be?
No.
In
My
reality,
wife is
all
gone!
he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I quit. I'm done with your shit. I'm gone. I have set the controller down. Now what the fuck do I do? Oh, this is boring. I guess I'm gonna go use the bathroom. I guess I'll be gone for a moment. As stated previously, I'm not going to press the button. It's not happening. Of the song. But it was interesting for at least a little bit, I guess. Look at it, it's sunburst. It's so cool. Stop! Fine.
You see? Can he just not hear me?
I didn't press the
How can I
button.
tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself.
I love killing
How can I get him
myself.
to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
I'm not gonna question anything because I'm stupid.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time.
Don't
And
say
I
it.
tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button.
I don't wanna.
Try-
Oh. I died. This game is making me question my old existence, man. I don't like it. I want to go to work.
Already this was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Nope.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
New content? Oh boy. I'm gonna die. Developers, this new content looks like shit.
And thank you for playing The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, The Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
Yep.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
Oh.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
Yay. I don't want to hear the story of the
Please
fucking
step
developers.
inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if, Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Oh! I can jump! Well, that sucked.
Is that it?
That sucked.
Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator.
Developers, the game
Stanley,
sucks.
I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just
No.
elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content?
I mean, this
If
wasn't
is
the game
new
before, so.
content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell,
Go
I
away.
could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And if... Oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes, I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
All right. Now, narrator, can you explain what's going on, please? What is happening? Why is it a photo?
Psst, Stanley, come over here, in the vent. I want to show you something.
I don't trust.
Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well,
yeah,
fine.
I do.
You're a dork. Oh, never mind. You're not a dork.
Weird. Narrator, if I die from this, I'm blaming you.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special, and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it.
What the?
Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Steam?
Doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something.
It did. Is it?
Waste.
I don't think you're allowed to put National Geographic on here. I don't think you're allowed to do that. By the narrator. Wow. Pressurized gas. Damn. Wow. Games Festival. Awarded to Stanley Parable. The Last of Us story 2014. Good times. Vinyl. You made a tower of the Stanley Parable vinyl? Where can I find that? My first $1. Demo, huh? Go outside. Don't play for 5 years. Unachievable. You cannot get this achievement. I will get that achievement. Nominee, British Academy Award, Stanley Parable Game Innovation. Nominee, British Academy Award, Stanley Parable Debut Game. Nominee, British Academy Award, Stanley Parable Story. Video game releasing today. Creator surprisingly down to earth. Officers on hat. Colleague show uneven support to enroll 4. Costume Utrecht University. New York Times. Today, sunny, hot, humid, high of 92. Hey, look, that's me dead. Deals tough choices. Beautiful. Truly an amazing. Wow. MOB. Best of PAX 2013.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Just truly terrible. Alright. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna keep that the way it is. The loading, the title screen, photos. Let's begin again. Tasteful, nostalgic. It was good. Yes, it was. It was good. Person of the Year, Stanley. I feel like oh my god, the buttons. Is that the coding? Jesus. The blue and red doors. What's with the Mustang? For Scott K. Scott K is probably the guy who wanted driving in the game. Oh, those are CDs, not vinyl. What the hell's wrong with me? The end is never. That is very
Here's
ominous.
another moving passage. This
Source!
time from GameSpot.com.
GameSpot!
The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation, boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise.
Truly a shame. The Serious Room, 2013. Well, what's in here?
These were simpler times, Stanley.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
No.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
I'm sure you'll find a spot for him, buddy. There's got to be at least one positive review around here somewhere. There it is! There it isn't.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
I love points of no return.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people, and if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story and the choices are what happened.
Oh, hey, it worked.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say...
Shut up.
Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their pressurized gas review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on how exactly pressurized gas works. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to
Hello,
myself
welcome
about.
to the stream.
It's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button. Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone.
I know.
I've looked at it from every angle. I've
noticed
checked every one of those walls 1,000 times, and there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back.
It's been 50 years. It's been 25 years.
Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a
It's been 25 years, Stanley.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time.
Stanley, it's been 20 years.
Oh. Sit down in one place and not move for one entire year. Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest...
Is he dead? Voice? The planet is dead. What? What's happening? Why is there a smoke detector going off? Oh, the battery died! The battery on the smoke detector died.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition.
Narrator?
But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get.
Did he finally shut the fuck up? There's gotta be a way out of here. The button will find me a way out.
Is never the end, 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 is never the end.
Narrator, you're scaring me. What's wrong with the narrator? What's going on with him? There's gotta be a way out of here. Has to be. Oh. It's been 500 years. It's decomposing. All of humanity has gone extinct. I'm the last one left. Has to be a way out of here. It's beautiful. Those berries? Why are they two-dimensional? No! They're not berries. It's a poor game asset. And now it's dark and shitty again. Did nuclear war break out? Alright, guys, press fast forward again. Well, this is, can I have a flashlight, please, game? Yep, pressing the button, I'm out. Button. Oh, fuck. Oh no, the way out. Ugh. Jesus. It's been 2 million years. There's gotta be some sort of human settlement around here somewhere. Where the fuck do I go? Towards that mountain. Oh, I'm back.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others. So the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Let's see it. Went through that again.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even
Why is
further.
it dark?
Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first
Stanley-
time ever
a sequel?
the Stanley
The sequel!
2.
Yo! Ho, ho! A sequel! Again.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
I mean, I've never made a game, so I wouldn't be able to tell you if that's true or not. Wow.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Where's that button? If it says my name, if it says
For the
my
Stanley Parable 2,
name,
I ask
I'm going to
myself,
lose it.
what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
I'm alright.
Jim. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here,
Right.
let's have you role play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature.
Alright.
Just play along. I promise you'll love it.
I'm Jim.
Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
I am
I
Jim.
want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim.
I get
as
it.
Jim, watching your dream. Jim. Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory.
I get
if
it.
you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button.
Narrator.
Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name.
It did, that's what it is.
Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first.
No.
Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to work as Jim, playing frisbee on the weekends as Jim, staying up all night for a popcorn and horror movie sleepover as Jim, developing a crippling substance addiction as Jim, rediscovering yourself through fringe religious groups as Jim, and finally, dying a slow death at an old age, surrounded by members of your cult as Jim.
Of my
You
cult.
feel it in your soul? Are you really, truly Jim right now?
This is how the cult
If
starts.
so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes, you see.
Whoa.
What a thrill. What a rush. That
That was
you.
insane.
The button described you. Do it again.
No.
Do it again.
Jim.
Ooh. It hits even harder the second time. If
My
this
dad.
were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money.
No, it
Let's
wouldn't.
take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim.
Jim.
I'm putting
Jim.
the Jim button
Jim.
away. Otherwise, soon
Jim.
you'll start to lose
Jim.
all sense of who
Jim.
you actually
Jim.
are.
Jim.
No! You fucking bastard. I can't believe you would do this to me. You should feel terrible. Who am I? Oh my god, he was right. Who am I? Who am I? What's my name? Someone tell me who my name is.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable too. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Wow. Wow. Jump circle, the infinite hole. New free and easy trophy. Pull the lever and get a trophy. Alright.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident?
Yeah.
Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the trophy will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Dude, finish your fucking game before you put it here to be tested by human beings. Brother, what are you doing?
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Who is that? No, that's Stanley. The infinite hole. I thought the game froze.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th Birthday, step-niece, it is.
Happy to help.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No. No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Well, I see a QR code. Time to scan it. I hope this doesn't give me any viruses on my phone. I swear to God. If this is a Rickroll, I'm gonna fucking shoot someone. If this is a Rickroll, I'm gonna kill somebody, I swear. Okay, scanned it. It's opening the website. StanleyParable2.com. The jury's still open. If this is a Rickroll, I swear to God. Oh. Welcome to the official website of the Stanley Parable 2. A sequel, huh? Put your help in front of a video.
Say there, Timmy. What's that you're enjoying? Why? It's hundreds of machine-operated efforts like these that the world comes together.
Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy the rest of the exhibit. Well, that was pretty cool. I was really, really expecting that to be a Rickroll. It had their Twitter account on it. It's on iOS for free. How do you put the Stanley Parable on a phone? A button that says Jim. That's Jim. Yeah, that's, you heard Jim in the game. That is Jim. The reassurance bucket. Is the bucket going to reassure me?
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical.
That's the
that
point.
It engendered a chaotic
Bucket.
sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me
Let me have it.
than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution.
It would be a pain in the ass.
Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it?
No.
The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body.
Bucket.
In fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person.
Are you hitting on me, narrator?
The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more awaits you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Cool. Do I get to keep the bucket? I get to keep the
Does
bucket.
anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game?
No, but they
There
should.
should be an award if it isn't already.
It should. That'd be pretty funny. Exit 9, leaving yet. I want to go see the infinity hole. The jump circle.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
That's
I
alright.
suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
It is. Settings world champion. Okay, it's way too slow. There we go. No! Well. What? Hello?
This is a recorded message scheduled either
That was alright, I was gonna leave
or
anyway.
person in your place of work.
Got
The
it.
purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages.
What?
If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere.
What?
Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
That was a recorded message. Do you want me to remove that from my whatever you said? I wasn't done checking out all the weird new cool shit game. I can't believe I did that. Fuck. Back I
Oh,
go.
good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
I just wanted to get rid of the bucket. The bucket was annoying me. fucking chords. I'm just moving my hand.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be.
Yeah.
The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new
It was.
content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Check that out already. Trophy, check that out. The infinite hole, I haven't checked that out yet. Hole, infinity, falling, more, science, unknown. You don't get to say unknown.
Stanley,
dude.
here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Why?
Great.
Alright, fine.
Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
I jumped down the hole again?
Okay, and I guess we're back in the hole now. Did you really need to see it again? I don't know what else there is to say, Stanley. It's an infinite hole. It's exactly what you're doing right now, but forever. There really are so many other fascinating exhibits that
I know. I just wanted to do it again.
spent quite a lot of time on all this, and I would very much like to show you some more of them. How about we go ahead and press that teleport button again, so we can get back to what's really important about... Oh, goodness. Well, this is rather embarrassing, Stanley.
You
I'll be
lying
honest with you,
bitch.
I truly did not believe that anyone would actually stay in the hole long enough to hit the bottom. Yes, I know, I told you the hole was infinite, but come on. Who actually wants to fall forever? The hole was plenty deep. It was more than deep enough, in my opinion. Maybe it's you who likes falling too much. Maybe you're the problem.
Okay, Jesus, calm down, man.
There, I think we both said some things we didn't mean.
I didn't say
Why
anything.
didn't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on.
Right.
I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Well, that was fun. That was cool. Infinity. Liar. Why does Stanley look like that? I mean, he looks fucking miserable, but then again, I'm not really sure why he wouldn't be. Collect them all. Oh.
collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
I got it. I got a number! Was that it? Alright.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
It is. I hate when I get rewards for doing shit.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think?
I do.
Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and
long-term financial potential. I want that trophy. Getting the trophy.
This is the story of a man named Stan.
Fuck you, narrator. Mute him.
This is the story of a man named...
I didn't mess with these. Okay. How big is 540? I can make it invisible. Why would you ever need the reticle to be that big? Turn it off. Well, I did it. I am now the settings world champion. Let me in. You fucking bastard. Well, let's see what's over here now. Epilogue.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley?
Yeah,
Yes,
it would.
Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Epilogue, huh? I'm down with that. Could you imagine if they actually drop a Stanley Parable 2? With, like, no announcement or anything? It's just, oh yeah, it's just some guys just like, this game popped up, and I bought it, and it's, yeah, legit. So I don't know, man. Is that two towers crumbling together? Oh, it's a mirror.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Whoa. That is pretty fucking cool, not gonna lie.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features?
Yeah.
Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my...
Hold on. Hold on, narrator. I gotta make your fucking subtitle size just a tad bigger.
It's
There we
going
go.
to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say,
There is.
let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's
I guess.
sort of okay.
Yeah.
Hold
Oh,
on.
found the
Let me do a
epilogue.
different arrangement.
But it's gonna be kind of like a little test.
Yes,
Little testing
this is
area, I
much
suppose. That
better
could work
if
well
you
for that.
thought about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Let's see it. Whoa.
Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything.
Yeah.
I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work?
This is just a Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
It would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. Perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Show me the title screen. Wow. This is amazing. Begin. Wow, that was awesome.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
It is the story of a man named Stanley.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building.
Oh my god, it's...
All of his co-workers were gone.
It's just, it added all the fucking balloons.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Except the computers that are on. The bucket!
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Stanley, this is my bucket now. Oh, you can't put a fucking gate in front of me, man. That's just rude. I hit my guitar and it fell over.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket.
Well, it's my bucket.
It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Me and the bucket.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always.
I love my bucket.
The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
The bucket knew.
Guiding him?
The bucket knows.
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Definitely. The bucket knows. Oh.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't
know.
buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Wonderful.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
I know. I know the bucket.
Stanley
will
and the
protect
bucket
me.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Me and the bucket are really wondering what's going on here.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley
God.
nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it.
No!
His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
That's my bucket, Pog. So where's 3? Four's up there. Open up. I can't see a fucking thing. Alright.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. the control buttons became active again.
Birds! Yes!
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Nice.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. No, the orders were still missing. For now.
Oh.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
I love my bucket. There's a flyer, there's a meeting. So, shit. Gotta go.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Large room, lots of boxes.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze.
Yeah.
Said nothing at all.
You're talking to a bucket,
That's
buddy.
strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience
My
without
bucket.
the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
What the fuck is happening?
Truly. He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
The bucket was inside of me? May I ask where
This
the
is the
bucket
story
was?
of a woman named Mariella.
She walked outside, found a crazy person holding a bucket dead on the
Mariella
ground.
woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work.
Oh my
On
god!
this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was.
No bucket.
This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
She backflipped all the way to work. That's insane.
A
What?
soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the direct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How in snow? Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
I did not do whatever the bucket asks. I am a free thinker.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket
Shit.
here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Yes, Mr. Narrator. Is this
Now then,
a
I'm going
bucket?
to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Yeah.
Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
It's a hologram. Got it.
Item 2. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Okay, you can steal a bucket. You can put shit in it. That's what a bucket is.
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Yeah. That's a bucket, all right.
Correct. This is a bucket.
Yeah. I got it. I found the bucket. Bucket is such a weird word to say over and over again.
Is this a bucket?
Yeah.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an
All right.
enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
Fuck you, narrator. I'm doing my own thing.
Is this a bucket?
No, it's not a bucket.
Incorrect.
What?
This is a bucket.
You're not gonna explain? You're not gonna explain, Mr. Narrator, sir?
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Mm-hmm.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
What? How? How is it a bucket and not a bucket at the same time?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one.
Oh, I'm sure
It
you...
should be around here somewhere.
I'm sure you'll find it. Just go look for it. It'll be around there somewhere. That's not a bucket. That is not a bucket.
Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless... Is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
This choice has dire consequences. No?
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere
Is
moments
this a
ago I could
bucket?
answer these questions with confidence.
Are you a
And yet
bucket?
now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us
Are
know
you a
what
bucket?
is? Am I?
I mean, technically, you can put shit in the hole.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this.
You can put shit in the hole.
I'm
Like
losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our
No.
relationship apart.
No!
I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
No!
Okay. Here
You
we
can't
go.
do this. No! No! My bucket.
What happened? Is everything gone?
Everything is a bucket.
Everything disappeared. Wait. Was everything a bucket? Every
Yes!
single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my god, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Well, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, I'll tell you what. I'll reset everything, and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows
Right.
what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Master of buckets.
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it?
Yeah, it
Is this
is.
Stanley's office?
From 427. That's my office. It's been my office since the dawn of time. Where's my bucket?
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms.
My
With
bucket.
the bucket in his arms again, in his home.
Beautiful. Bucket. I fucking love my bucket. Fuck it. Fuck it, bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was.
No. No, did that. No collectibles there. Gotta find them all.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
No, that's the death way. Don't go that way.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes. This is certainly the most logical explanation.
What am I supposed to be doing? The bucket shall guide me to victory.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Oh, shit.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death. It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest.
My bucket!
It was a glorious bucket to behold.
the bucket. Truly beautiful.
Can you
Is this-
see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Two handles. It's crazy. Wow.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The infinity hole. Oh, yoink. I'll take that. My bucket now.
But there is something we can do.
Destroy
something we can do together, you
the
and
buckets.
I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Oh. Well, Stanley is dead. Now what, game? Now what, Mrs. Narrator? Oh, I'm back here again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, that's new.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
That's the death room. Upstairs I go.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Nice. Found the both red and blue.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? This was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to take. He fell to his knees, bursting into half moans, half sobs, the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going. Here on the floor, he lay prone, paralyzed by fear for nearly a full hour. But when at last he began to move about and survey the situation, he found a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could it mean? Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future? Alas, it was not. For although this keypad guarded the terrible secret of Stanley's past, it had been assigned a 4-digit code so devious and so random that no man could ever hope to guess it. 2845. Statistically, nearly impossible to guess blindly, ever. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I will find out what I'm supposed to do.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Of course he did.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machine... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
I did.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Yep.
Oh, Stanley...
Super hot.
All your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go. Turn the controls off and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the
Nukes.
entire complex.
Fuck.
How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
Nice.
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing.
I pressed the
Watching
button.
you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much.
Do I need to count
You know
down?
what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle.
What?
30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
I'm dead. I died. I'm fucked. Brilliant. Well, that was fun. Narrator, you're an asshole.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Maybe he did miss a memo.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Red and blue. Stairs. Large room with a lot of boxes. Employee 2421 building a bridge. Cargo room. What do they want? Make them interns. Why does it look like 427? Why are they floating? Training exercise? Dreams. How many are there? 6. 151. More money if sold together. Can we sell them? Duh. Obviously. Stairs.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Aha!
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
I had like a perfect rhythm down. Another note, someone's been sleeping here.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean, he wondered? Desperate for answers, he began turning the room over looking for clues that might unravel the situation, until at last he discovered a keypad behind the boss's desk. But alas, no code. For this keypad guarded the... Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy.
You, narrator,
So
I'm doing my
he
own thing.
relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passage door.
Yeah. Oh god. This is so...
That had to sound really weird. There we go.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
You know what? That is all the time I have for the Stanley Parable today. And by that I mean that's all I can take. This game makes me upset. Goodbye. I will see you tomorrow. I love you. Mwah.